Hey kids, what's the bravest thing you've ever done? Was it trying out for a sports team? Or giving a speech in front of your whole class? Or maybe it was talking to a new kid at school.
Well, today we're going to talk about a story in the Old Testament about being brave.
The wall in Jerusalem needed a big fix. Remember what we learned in our last Old Testament story?
All of God's people got together to rebuild the temple that the bad guys had torn down.
In this story, we have another problem. The bad guys tore down the city walls too.
That might not sound like a big deal, but back then, city walls were very important.
They were the city's first line of defense, so when they didn't have walls, they were in big trouble.
So what were the people supposed to do to fix it? God used a cupbearer named Nehemiah to fix the walls.
Have you ever heard of a cupbearer before? Despite what it sounds like, it's not the person in charge of cups and bears.
No, it was the guy that drank the king's wine to see if there was any poison in it.
You've got to be really brave for a job like that. And Nehemiah was that guy.
And because that was his job, he got to hang around the king a lot.
Nehemiah told him what happened in Jerusalem. They had no walls.
So the king told Nehemiah to take a group of people with him to go fix the walls.
The builders had to use shovels and swords.
Yep, that's right. They used swords, not to build the wall, but to protect the workers.
Not only did they have to rebuild the wall, they had to do it while they were being attacked by more bad guys.
So Nehemiah cheered the workers on. Memory verse.
Don't be afraid of the enemy. Remember the Lord, who is great and glorious, and fight for your brothers.
He told the workers that God was with them and protecting them.
The people were eventually brave, and they rebuilt the wall and kept the city safe.
So what can we learn from this, kids?
God wants us to be brave enough to do things His way.
Think about how scary that would be when you're fixing the wall while being surrounded by bad guys.
Do you think you would be brave enough to do that?
You might think you aren't, but with God's help, you can be.
With God, you can be brave enough to do the right thing, like obey when everyone else is misbehaving, or tell the truth when you make a mistake, or stand up for a kid when he's being picked on.
So kids, the next time you need to be brave, think about Nehemiah the cupbearer. He was brave, and you can be too.